The universe started its life 13.8 billion years ago. The beginning, as we know, was a Big Bang, and then about 200 million years later, the first star formed. And then star clusters formed, solar systems formed, galaxies formed, galaxy clusters formed, and then fast forward today, we have today's universe. What I said right now is called the chronology of the universe. Just like how the universe has a chronology, an idea has the same structure. It's chronology. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to take you through a journey of the life cycle of an idea. From the beginning, which is just a thought in your brain, to the point where you feel it's getting real, all the way to the point where it becomes reality. Anything that you have seen till date, a breakthrough, an invention, a whole city, or even a song that we listen to, was at one point a fragile thought in someone's brain. And that fragile thought got converted into a physical object or an audible object that we can receive as a product. My question is, how do we do that? How do we make an idea, which is a fragile thought in your brain, all the way to our reality? And today, we're going to go through that journey from inside your mind. So to begin with, we have to visit the most important, or the most amazing, I must say, organ in your body, which is your brain. Inside your brain, there's about 86 billion neurons. Put that number in your mind, 86 billion neurons. And when a thought enters your brain, or an idea enters your brain, it's not just one neuron talking to another one. It's a complex system of neurons communicating with each other with chemical signals, electrical signals, and they are doing a network of operations. So if you go deeper into the brain, you'll notice that inside the neurons, we have receptors, and also we have transmitters. So when an idea enters your brain, it's actually a thought pattern. And you realize that the ideas come to you, mostly, 9 out of 10 times, it comes to you when you are in the most relaxed state. Mostly when you are in the shower, or when you are at the beach, when you're taking a walk, or when you're about to sleep. For me, personally, most ideas come to me when I'm sleeping. I wake up and I'm like, what is that? So that question that comes to your mind when an idea enters your brain is excitement. Now you've heard of the hormone called the dopamine. Dopamine is not just happiness. When you're relaxed and this idea enters your mind, what happens is your brain gets excited for a potential. Why? Because most ideas are not just one single object. It's mostly when you mix unrelated concepts together. If you bring this one and put it together. And your question is, what if? Every idea starts with the question, what if? For me personally, everything was what if. What if I do this? What if I bring this and put it together with this one? And that is the point when your brain is saying, we are onto something. And when that happens, you release the dopamine, which is happiness plus excitement. But there is a catch. And the catch is very negative. Because your brain evolved to deal with certainty, not uncertainty, and to deal with survival. So when a new idea enters your brain, your nervous system becomes scared because it's a foreign object entering your mind. That's why most ideas, 9 out of 10 times, when it's in your brain, it fails. Why? Because there is a system called amygdala. Amygdala in the brain is the place where we have fear. And this fear is not because you're feeling negative about the idea. No, it's about protecting yourself. So the brain goes like, listen, this is too big, this is too dangerous, it's too expensive, and what if it fails? And that's why most ideas that we have, I'm sure most of you have these ideas that have sat in your brain and it has failed. And I always say this thing to myself, the longer you keep something in your brain, the harder it gets. Why? Because, for example, if I have an idea today, I want to do it tomorrow. If I postpone to next week, all those 6 days that I have in the middle, these 6 days will give me doubts. And each doubt is going to push my idea further back. And it's going to become to a point where I'm like, no, this might not work. It's too dangerous. It's too expensive. I might fail. But the fear is normal because we are training our brain. The neural pathways need to be trained just like a muscle. Our brain is a muscle. So if we don't train our neural pathways, we'll keep getting scared and we'll step back. But this statement is true. Most ideas are a bit scary. And if it's not scary, it's not an idea. It has to be scary. That's why it's a fresh, new idea. Your brain starts to reject it in a while, but then if you train the pathways, you can get it to work. Then comes the point where it becomes tangible. And for me, this is the most important point in the whole chronology of an idea. This can be a small step. It can be a very tiny thing that you do. It could be something like writing your idea on a whiteboard. When you wake up, you see it. Because when you see it, it becomes real. And that's why it becomes tangible. So this point is something I call the event horizon. In astrophysics, we have the black holes. And black holes have a space called the event horizon where there is no return. Once you get to event horizon, you are in there. You're going to singularity. There's no coming back from that. Once you make this step happen, that idea in your brain becomes something physical in your hand or in front of your eyes. That's the point where you turn your imagination into something. That's the point when the brain goes, this is not hypothetical anymore, because you can see it. It could be a tiny, tiny step. Beyond that point, there is no depending on inspiration. There is no just depending on motivation, because from this point, it's all about execution. Because if you sit and think further, I'll take you back to what I said earlier. The longer you keep it in your head, the harder it gets. So, beyond that first tangible step that you make, it could be writing on the board, it could be even talking to someone in that same field and getting inspired, it could be something called investment. So imagine if you invest some amount of money in that. What happens? There is consequence. So once there is consequence in your investment, what will happen? You will not step back, because now it's responsibility and you know it could go south, so you're going to work towards it. So execution takes a lot of steps. Now, it's not easy to make a big thing happen. It's not. It needs structure, obviously, because in your mind, it's a big dream, it's a big idea, yes. But in real world, it requires many, many, many steps. And it requires design. Without design, your idea is just a thought. And now we're beginning to train our neural pathways. When I say neural pathways, I'm going back to the neurons. I'm going back to training your mind to get out of that fear that it might fail. What do? I take baby steps. Because if you step in front of a big building and you look at the building, it looks huge in the first glance. But then imagine going floor by floor. It's doable under 1 day or even 1 hour. Because the idea in the beginning might look overwhelming, but for the brain, you need to step it down to multiple steps. If you take that multiple steps, it's better than taking one big step or fearing a one big step fail. Instead of that, take multiple few small steps and you will get to at least something in every day. Now, to make the idea come true, I'm going to give you 4 specific steps or 4 breakdowns. Number 1 is S. Number 2 is B. Number 2 is E. Number 2 is D. Number 4 is D. So number 1 is shrinking. What I said earlier, shrinking the idea to small, small steps. Because this is you when you are walking a new way. You don't know where you're going, but you think there is something. Like this penguin thought, 70 kilometers away, there is a mountain, and there is something waiting for you there. So you're walking this way, and you have these small steps already taken in the previous step, which is shrinking, S. And this one is the step when you are exploring, E. My question is, if you are walking towards a destination that you are ambitious about, would you externalize it to someone who has never been there? This is you asking for directions. You want to get to somewhere. Would you ask someone who has never been there? No. So my question is, why would you ask people who have not dreamt your dream about how to do your dream or how to make your dream happen? So when you externalize your dream, it's a very sensitive topic. Make sure that your friends or people around you are in the same wavelength of you and your dream. Otherwise, you will be telling you no, because they would give you the fear that you removed with the first step, because your brain's already scared. Imagine someone telling you, no, this won't work. It will give you the feedback that it's never going to work. So these steps for you is very important, and to get from the right place. And number 3, we have the idea that's supposed to be flexible. I'll give you one statement, keep this in your mind all the time. Rigid ideas have the potential to break. Flexible ideas grow. Why? Because initially the thought is that my dream is this. And if it doesn't happen that way, don't be upset, because you have to evolve with time. Our brain evolved from a point of fear to potential, or to saying that it's not hypothetical. So you have to evolve with it. And never stick to that thing that, my idea is this, I can't change from it, it has to be completely rigid and I have to do the same thing. No. With the journey that you take, and with the conversations you have, with the investments you make, your ideas can be flexible. So keep the statement in your mind: rigid ideas have the potential to break, flexible ideas can grow like a plant. And the last step is called B. And B is becoming your idea. Most of you heard the statement called you are what you eat, right? There's something else called you are what you think. So become the person who says, I'm the person who can do this. I'm the person who can get things done. I'm the person who follows through. Instead of saying, I'm the person that can think of an idea, maybe I'm thinking of this, I'm trying this, I'm researching. No. That way, you will stay back researching, you will stay back looking up things, you will not execute. So become the person who is trying to make things happen, plus who is taking feedback from the right place and applying it to flexible ideas that's in the brain. So we have 3 together. And this image is very important for me because I look at this image sometimes to understand that the destination might not be visible. I might not know where I'm going. But my life is one, and I'm going to take that step anyway. It's not about the size of the staircase. It's about taking that one step towards the end of the staircase. So I'll leave you with one last question. If you have an idea in your brain, and this brain is detecting the idea that for you, if that comes to your brain, will you respect that idea that came to you and follow through with the process, or will you stay back and give up on fear? Thank you.